Hello and welcome to another Brohood Productions. I'm JP the Hulk. Alma can't join me today, the All-Star Superman, but today we're going to be reacting to reviews to Thunderbolts. I felt that it's been a couple weeks that the people that diehard fans could review it. They review it very quickly, and then like some families, and then like the general population, we can see overall like where it's going. But this is something that Alma and I really like to do because our most notable one is Avatar Last Airbender. I swear, like, we were laughing the whole night, like 3 to 5 hours straight. I had the best sleep of any night. It was awesome. So we're gonna go through this. Hopefully we find some funny ones. But I'm gonna do so. Good to know. We're going through the IMDb, and there was 77,000 votes, and overall people were giving it 7.6. So, and I think that's what the movie deserves, anywhere between 7 and 8. Definitely wasn't 10 out of 10. We won't be reading 10 out of 10 reviews, but let's look. So I'm gonna refine this a little bit. So I'm gonna go by. Let's go through total votes, meaning like who liked it, who agreed with the vote most or the review. And so this guy says, an absolute banger with a strong message within. This was reviewed April 30th, 2025. So he says, Thunderbolts, it's some of Marvel's darkest material to date. Okay, dark. I don't agree with that, but dealing with the emotional wreckage of broken individuals grappling with their past choices and finding camaraderie amidst the emptiness of their lives. Yes, that's very true. I can tell that the movie is one of the most enjoyable films in a while. It feels different than most of the studio projects. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I felt like coming out of that theater, it didn't feel like a Marvel movie. It felt like something different, but still really good. So it is truly fantastic. The cast had electric chemistry with each other. This is probably one of the most, if not the most, humane movie filled with allowing their anti-hero being flawed, broken, and regretful. Sebastian Stan has an absolute stealing moment, yet Florence shows she is true leader of the new generation and team. She's the star that shines the brightest. There's a lot to love in this movie, honestly. A visually daring, emotionally resonant superhero movie that pushes mental health to the forefront. The MCU future is bright. Definitely stick around after the credits. There are 2 scenes, and the last one will make you so hyped. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that last scene with Fantastic Four was amazing. Also, this is good to know that the people who are reviewing, I think they're verified reviewers. So there's only like 697 reviews. Interesting. Just wanted to mention that. All right. So yeah, I mean everybody's giving it like an 8 out of 10 here. Okay, here's a 5 out of 10. Thunderbolts is Marvel's grim, dark identity crisis in PG-13 clothing. Okay. So this is what mutually looks like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After years of leaning on forced quips and sitcom-style dialogue, Thunderbolts arrives promising something different, something deeper, something grittier. But beneath the darker color grade and the serious expressions, it's still the same Marvel formula. New paint, same blueprint. Okay. Yeah. It's ironic, maybe even overdue, that Marvel finally tried copying DC after more than a decade of DC trying to be Marvel. That's funny. I actually don't think that Marvel at all is trying to copy DC. I think they have their own unique style. I don't think they're trying to copy anyone. Marvel's Marvel, and I think they always stick to it. So, but instead of carving out a new direction, Thunderbolts plays like a sterilized version of Suicide Squad. Okay, the rough edges are gone. What remains is a movie that wants to feel bold, but is constrained by its PG-13 rating and its real mission, which is selling action figures to teenagers. Sure, that could be the goal. This is interesting though. This person is saying this guy's called Conditions of Use. Okay. well. He says that the movie is constrained by its PG-13 rating. I mean, could you have made it a little more grittier and bloodier and have them swear more, I guess? I don't know. I don't think it was really constrained. Moving on. So, the marketing pushes the idea of character development. That's generous. Most of these characters already had entire shows dedicated to their arcs. If they didn't connect with audience in 6 to 10 hours of streaming content, they're not going to do it in 2. True. What we get instead are a few familiar poses, another sarcastic exchange, and some recycled trauma. It's not development, it's repackaging. Okay, dude. The story structure is painfully familiar. A shady government mission, a team of broken toys, a world-ending threat. Okay, when he says a team of broken toys, the first thought in my mind was just Toy Story. And it's just funny to think if Toy Story were sent on a world-ending threat from the government mission. I don't know how that would go. So, cue the third act, group therapy session, and last minute save. This is Marvel's 36th film, and it plays like it was assembled by an algorithm trained on Marvel's greatest hits. That might not be a cinematic crime, but it's getting harder to care. Sure. There are a few laughs. Some of the lines land. The cast has chemistry. There are brief moments of tension before everything melts into overprocessed CGI. But when you strip away the fan service and the built-in affection for these characters, the skeleton underneath is generic and forgettable. This story could have been outlined on a napkin in 15 minutes. The film clumsily stitches together characters from earlier titles and calls it synergy. You get 3 super soldiers, a sidelined Black Widow, and a handful of underdeveloped powers that never quite make visual sense. To raise the stakes, the writers throw in a god-level threat and hope no one asks why. If one Winter Soldier was enough to carry a film, then 3 of them, plus a demigod, must be worth your time, right? The real issue isn't just recycled plots or overused archetypes. Hollywood has always done that. The problem is scale. The movie cost nearly $200 million. That budget could have supported 20 other films with original leads, original ideas, new voices, and something real to say. Instead, we get a lifeless monument to franchise maintenance. Okay, we're in the home stretch now. This guy gave it 5 out of 10. There was a moment when Marvel seemed to grasp that the audience wanted more. You could see it in Daredevil, in the early promise of Moon Knight, and in the strange ambition of WandaVision. But then came She-Hulk, Thor, Love and Thunder, and a wave of content that treated depth like a liability. Thunderbolts wants to be the pivot point. It wants to announce that Marvel is ready to evolve. I agree that I think this is a good direction that it's going, that we're going to get better movies, I feel. But it still follows the same playbook. It markets itself as a bold while playing it safe. It pretends to break the mold while filling in the same tired blanks. Maybe that's enough for those happy with recycled thrills and darker lighting. But if you're hoping for something new, all you'll find here is the same old noise in a lower key. So 128 of 285 found this review helpful. I wish there could be at the actual 77,000 people that voted, they're more verified users. Okay, let's see. Edward Homer said it's one of the most average movie from Marvel. I don't think that guy spelled average correct. Average. Okay, my hopes were really high, but the movie surprised me in a bad way. The story's supposed to be dark, serious, and giving our heroes a chance to evolve, but we get a rushed backstory, bad film action scenes that sometimes are really boring and feeling that it's not Marvel we know and love. I didn't feel involved in the movie. I didn't feel deeper connection with any of the characters. The emotional side was not done interesting, and it's bad because it was supposed, I think so, to be really important. I can't even tell I'm glad they show us I can't even tell. I'm glad they show us the problems of depression, loneliness, darkness inside of everyone because it wasn't treated in the right way. Wasted potential. Okay, that guy just has a lot of grammar issues, and so I couldn't read that correctly. But one thing I do agree is I think a lot of the backstories, some people were rushed. The thing is the general population going to watch most of the shows? No, I don't think so. So, but overall, people are giving 8 out of 10. Ooh, we got a 3 out of 10. Let's read this. By Tyresaurus. Interesting username. Dear Marvel, your portrayal of depression is pathetic. Okay. Thunderbolts, yes, with the asterisk. The very same one where people thought it would be rated R. But in reality, it's not even a PG-13 level. But rather a sloppy mess that is so cartoon like it would be written by children. That is a good one. With the Marvel pictures that Marvel has been spitting out, quality is far from priority. Thunderbolts is easily the most boring picture I've seen in the theater. The picture wasn't enough for me to pay attention, my eyes drifting off to whatever was around. I wouldn't expect it to be anything interesting. My expectations was average after seeing Venom, The Last Dance, and Kraven the Hunter. There wasn't anything to be surprised. However, the thing was, it's ridiculously boring, whether it was seeing the thing copied and pasted over something wasn't right. And here are the 3 problems I noticed. 1, he said, wow, the ridiculous cartoon-like nature. It looks like whatever they did, they tried making it as family-friendly as they could for a PG-13 picture. For some strange reason, they just have to make Thunderbolts like a over-the-top cartoon. Okay. The pacing, number 2. The pacing, it's all simply wrong. Just like a Minecraft movie, it does not feel like a movie. Instead, it looks more like clips stitched together and labeling it as a movie and call it a day. Thunderbolts had the same major flaw with Venom: The Last Dance. It literally felt it was going nowhere, as if they threw away the story structure of a movie. Okay, I don't think it was going nowhere, because I think all of us knew coming into the film is we're trying to reassemble an Avengers team, and a lot of these movies coming out right now are leading to Avengers Doomsday and all of that. So number 3, the rushed CGI like any other Marvel picture. It's heavy with CGI. It was terrible like other past Marvel pictures, but there were details that didn't look right. You could tell if they switched an actor with CGI or if the actor's body is CGI. See, everyone gets all technical with CGI. Let's see if you can do it better. Now, the part you were waiting for. Ooh. The worst offender would be the theme of depression. Their attempt was nothing more than utterly worthlessly pathetic and even a little offensive. They put nearly or no effort with adding depression to the story. I highly doubt research was conducted. Big reason why we watch movies is to heal. Marvel's attempt to have us relate with Thunderbolts by adding the serious health condition is something very depressing. No one will read this anyway. Okay, so 57 of 202 people found this review helpful. That's funny. A lot to say there, but to this person, the one that you wanted, title says boring. These reviews are BS. Okay. What the heck happened to Marvel? After Endgame, it was just jumped off the ship. This movie, like the Captain America movie that just came out, tries hard and has sloppy CGI. It is like a Black Widow movie with the team around her. Not great and boring action. Nothing like the trailers. Not funny, but super boring. Watch at your own risk. If I didn't score a free screening, I wouldn't have watched this movie. Ooh, someone got to watch a movie for free. It can wait for a smaller screen. Now, I am serious, worried about Doomsday. If Doomsday tanks, Marvel will need a hard reboot. Marvel, you need to stop putting out this junk and get back on track. Okay, the movie wasn't that bad. 88 of 196 people found this review helpful. So, this person says 6 out of 10. Is the Marvel bar now so low that this is considered good? Okay, so if we say it was good, did we just lower our standards? I don't know. I think I think we can all look back on what made a good Marvel movie a good Marvel movie. This was good. Wasn't the best. I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10. 1 out of 10. But holy cow, 8. Boring, just boring. I watched the movie Thunderbolts, and to be honest, I was deeply disappointed. Expectations were much higher, but the picture did not meet them. The characters turned out to be faceless and do not evoke any empathetic response. There is practically no chemistry between them, which is why the plot loses its vividness and causes boredom. The villains are a complete disappointment. Neither Darkness nor Valentina Fontaine are able to evoke at the least some emotions. But images look empty and uninteresting, the storyline is extremely weak, and the battle scenes leave much to be desired. They are quite monotonous and do not capture the viewer. Humor also failed. Most of the jokes just seem forced and not funny, with the exception of the character Bucky, a veteran of the MCU who appears in a bob head. He became the only source of smiles. Wrong. I think the Red Guardian was hilarious as heck. The Sentry character turned out to be insufficiently revealed and rather weak. Robert often behaves logically and stupidly, which is explained by his memory loss, but instead of arousing sympathy or interest, it's more annoying. Okay. I think the Sentry character, yes, Bob could have had more backstory. I don't think he was annoying. But anyhow, I think we'll stop there. I think most of the general population says it's between a 7 and 8. I don't think we're lowering the bar. I don't think so. It's a good movie. Everyone go watch it. Bro Hood out.